All right, and then we were back to the KVL where we have the Bonner Springs Braves, coached by Dan Street last year. Striet, sorry. Dan Striet last year. I have it down for a record of 7-14, 3-9 in the KVL. So welcome, Coach Striet and the Braves.
All right, thank you. I'd like to reiterate what the other coaches have said. We really appreciate what you guys have done over the years, especially the last couple of years. I know with David and Vernon, of course, a lot of play-by-play in football and basketball, and you guys do a great job on promoting our kids within Wyandotte County and also some of the surrounding schools. So we thank you for that, and also the culmination of the All-Star game at the end of the season, too. I think that was a great invention. It was good for the kids, and I think it's going to be great for the communities as well. Looking at Bonner Springs this year, we're kind of in a regrowth pattern, and we've been that way probably the last 2 years. We've got a lot of young kids. We're junior heavy. A couple of our seniors, Jonah Fries couldn't be here today. He got sick after Friday's game with Baser. Brendan Dotson, my starting point guard, had family situation come up, so he had to go with that. And then my other two, Stephen Greer and Aaron Ashford, aren't here. But I did bring with me this afternoon junior Connor Byers, who's kind of playing between a 2, 3, and a 4. He can also run the 1 if we have to use him there. And then the McGhee twins, I have Devante next to me and then Aaron to the right, both shooting guards, and both can step out and play the 1 if we need it. This year, we have some expectations of what we want to get done. The kids have always talked about state tournament. Well, you have to take little steps, and I don't think we're ready for the state tournament yet because I don't think we practice and prepare for that. Our game Friday night with Baser was a step in the right direction for me because we actually started off the game playing. Last year, it would be not until second half where we'd come out and start playing, and I thought we played really well. The first half had a lot of forced turnovers, maybe some ill-advised shots, but, playing Baser, a top team not only in our league but in the state as well, and to lose by 21, you don't want to take anything away from it and say, oh, we were just terrible. But the kids played hard, and that's the best thing I think I took from that game Friday night. But our expectations are to get better each and every day, try to take one game at a time, and hopefully come February we're hitting our peak and things fall where they're supposed to fall.
So one thing I noticed is you guys rebounded the ball real well. I mean, not the biggest team in the world, but you guys collectively all were getting on the glass. Talk a little bit about, having the athleticism to be able to get on the glass when you're a little bit undersized.
That's one of the things. Since I've been at Bonner, we've never had any size. Our biggest kids this year are 6'3", 6'4", and not real big when it comes to size and weight. Josh Adams, one of our juniors who started for us the other day in the post, 6'4", probably pushing 220, 230, somewhere around in there, big kid. But we have to use our athleticism, and I think that's the best advantage we have. We're a very quick team. We can get to the boards, and I thought defensively on the glass we did a great job against Baser. Offensively, we don't crash the glass as hard as we can, but Baser did a great job in boxing us out too. So we're just going to have to work on our speed a little bit more, try to get into the spots where the ball's coming.
So, again, like you said, a tough game at home in league. Talk a little bit about starting off with a league game like that against probably maybe even the worst opponent I guess you could take starting out.
In all my years, this is my second stint with the program. I was assistant for 5 years under Andy Price, and then I came back 2 years ago and took over the head job after a 5-year hiatus. And we've never had an open game before tournament. And so that was kind of strange in itself, but playing a league foe and a top team in our league, we felt we were ready to go. And like I said, I thought we played hard. We got in foul trouble. For those teams who haven't played yet, be ready. The officials are calling anything and everything except in the post, where the postmen are being allowed to hook and whatnot, which I had a hard time with. But it was a tough game. But I think that prepares us going into tomorrow's game with Eudora at the tournament. I think 3:30 tip-off. I think having that game under our belt helps us. I don't think we'll be as nervous as we were Friday night, and I think we'll play a lot better.
This can go to any of the players, but maybe talk about kind of your thoughts on how Friday night went from a team perspective.
Okay.
From a team perspective, it really showed us what we need to do to compete in the KVL for a championship, as like some Striet said that we want to do. And it really showed us that we can play with other teams at some points, but if we put it all together and put the chemistry together, we can be a tough team to compete with.
I just think as a team on Friday, we came out a little nervous and had a couple people different in the lineup, but I think we could, if we just put our defense together and play together, because we have this year our team has been really close and we got a lot of good chemistry, so we can put some games together and get good wins together. I feel like playing Baser the first game, it was a hard game, but I feel like we actually needed that game to see where we can compete with other teams in our league that may be harder teams to compete with. So I felt like it was a good game for us.
So, Coach, what did you tell your team after Friday night?
I told them I was disappointed. Last year and probably 2 years ago, we had problems with senior leadership and chemistry. And we've kind of come into this season more as a family, as a lot of the coaches have echoed earlier too. And I think we're a close-knit group. And I told them, I was disappointed. I really wanted to win the game, and I thought we could have played it a lot closer than we did. We missed some free throws. That hurt us on the line early. We got into foul trouble with some of our kids. That kind of took them out of rhythm. But I was disappointed because I thought we could have played Baser tougher than what we did. However, that game's done. Now we got to move on. And now we got to set our focus for Eudora. So, I told them I was happy with them from the standpoint of working hard, but we still need to do more. And that's kind of what they took with it out of the locker room.
So last year you platooned a lot with, subbing 5 at a time. Was that more of a situation where you're trying to find out what you had, or, didn't do that as much, or you didn't do it at all Friday?
And last year it was more trying to find out what we had. And I knew that probably out of our 12 we suited last year, we had 7, 8 real good players. This year, we're primarily suiting up 11 for varsity. We've held out an open spot for that 12th member. And I thought maybe if they get to play a little bit longer with each other instead of platooning as much as we did last year, maybe we can gel a little bit more as a team. But I'm also looking at now, maybe platooning was the better system because our second 5 is just as good as our first 5. And then, of course, we got the luxury of having Jamison Jackson, a freshman, that we suited up and came in his first varsity experience in the fourth quarter and altered some shots. We didn't know how he would play, but we had to see how he would play because he's a pretty talented freshman. And, now I look at really, 1 through 12, we're pretty solid, and we have a couple other JV kids who we think can come up and help us as well.
So Devante, Aaron, talk a little bit about, your preparation this past year. It looked like you guys grew maybe a couple of inches from last year. Talk about the summer and what you did to prepare to come into this season.
During the summer, we played with a team, and then I think the summer we got a little better skilled-wise and got a bit taller, which helps, and then working on our games from outside and inside since we have grown a little bit. Me preparing for coming into this season was I wanted to be a more stronger rebounder defensively. I wanted to block shots. I wanted to lead and block shots. I wanted to do other things that I know I can do on the court because I know I can score. So I just wanted to work on other things that weren't as strong for me last year.
Connor, talk a little bit about the success you had in football this year, both individually and as a team, and how do you carry that over to that mental toughness side over to the basketball court and kind of getting rest of your teammates, kind of walking that line with you?
Well, football was a great year just because we had a great team chemistry, and then transitioning over to basketball, we have a pretty good chemistry. We've all played together since elementary school. This summer we went up to Nebraska for a tournament as a team. We really started to gel. And just doing that has really helped the team. We know what people want to do, how they can do it most of the time, and I think that helps everybody out.
What do you think about Brandon in the first game? Only a couple of seniors that you have on there. Talk a little bit about him and how important he's going to be at point guard, to getting you guys in the offense. And
Brendan is a special kid. He's built like a guard. He plays like a guard. I think Brendan sometimes puts too much pressure on himself. We'll go back to the Mill Valley game last year. At Mill Valley, scored 21 straight points. And I think that kind of set on him that, wow, there's nobody in the league that can handle me. And what I asked him to do this year is I wanted him to come in a little bit more vocal. He's a very quiet kid. He'll say things under his breath. Sometimes get technicals for it, sometimes not. But he's a very quiet kid, and I want him to lead by example. But I also want him to be that vocal leader in the locker room to say, hey, this is what we want to do. Let's get everybody on the same page and do it. And I think he's got a great chance to play at the next level somewhere, whether it be Division II, JUCO. But I thought he played pretty well. Now, he talked to me after the game, and he said, oh, Coach, I didn't show up and didn't play as well. And I said, I thought you played pretty well. I thought you were very good at giving up and distributing the ball, but I think sometimes he has to be a little bit more selfish. He's got the ability to go one-on-one. He's got a nice jump shot, which he's developed. But just getting him to be a little bit more of a vocal leader is what I really want him to do. But I thought he played pretty well Friday night against Baser. All right, thank you, guys.